Namaste. Good morning to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where you can sit and have your spine and back of your neck be nice and long and tall, stretched out, opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. You gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. I thought he came to pass through, but he's back again. So Mr. Oscar's making a super big cameo appearance today. So for this morning's intention, my intention is not to be too disturbed by him coming and going. Otherwise, I think I will put him in his room. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is vulnerability. So when I was taking my yoga teacher training class, a number of years ago now, one of the first assignments we had was to listen to Brene Brown's TED Talk titled The Power of Vulnerability. Excuse me. The word she uses to describe people who can live from a place of vulnerability is wholehearted. It's not a position of weakness, as the Merriam-Webster's dictionary suggests. It's actually a position of strength, she contends. Even Sigmund Freud echoed that feeling. He said, out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. So for this morning's pranayama, we're going to do a riff on a pranayama we've done before. It's the pranayama, sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Pranayama that we've done before is Nadi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril breathing. This one we're going to do this morning is the right nostril breathing. And it has its own name. It's Suryabheda. Suryabheda. And Surya, it stands for sun. It's Sanskrit for sun. And the Bhada is to pierce. So this pranayama is said to pierce the one nadi, the energy channels that flow along your spine, to pierce that nadi that is activates the sun's energy. And that nadi is activated through the right nostril. So what we do, you just have your regular breath. Sorry, I'm trying to avoid the sun. It just shifted in the last few minutes. So what we start with is our regular breathing. And then we can use the, you can have an option of either using the Vishnu mudra, which is the one we use for alternate nostril breathing, is you bring your fingers up and then you bend the index and the middle finger, leaving these two fingers, the thumb, three fingers, thumb, ring, and pinky extended. And then you would be using them as kind of flippers back and forth. Since we're just working with the right nostril, I think it's easy just to use your thumb and your index finger too. I've seen it done both ways on my research. So we start with blocking the left nostril, inhaling through the right nostril, and then switching, closing the right nostril and exhaling through the left nostril. Now we're going to not inhale through the left. We're just going to close that nostril again, inhaling through the right. So we're only going to inhale through the right and exhale through the left. So you release and go back to your regular breath. So things I've heard about this particular technique, and I've actually referred to it when we did the Nadi Shodhana, is that in the morning, you would turn over to your left side, excuse me, so that your left nostril's kind of closed and you have free access to your right nostril in order to wake up. And that whole kind of theme is prevalent from what I was reading. You know, if you're feeling sluggish or lazy and you need to generate some energy, that's that technique we just did is the thing to do. Also, it's supposed to be good for sinuses and stuff. So the alternate one, so this one was Suryabheda. The opposite is left nostril breathing, and that's Chandra, which means the moon, and it's a calming and relaxing type. So that's just done the opposite way. So you only inhale through the left side and exhale through the right. Inhale through the left, exhale through the right. So that's a very calming, like before you go to sleep, breathing technique. So it's just basically a breakdown of the alternate nostril with specific use for each one. So let's, you can pick whichever one you want. I'm doing the energizing because I'm getting over a cold. And it's like, well, maybe it'll help clear my nasal passages or something. Who knows? And we'll just spend a few minutes with meditation. And last week I did an affirmation. And I thought, oh, that's kind of neat to do in this spot here. So today's affirmation for your meditation is vulnerability is my strength. Vulnerability is my strength. So you can continue that right nostril breathing. like. Make it to the mat. Oscar and his best buddy, Walla, here. Alrighty, we can start our asana practice now. And who knows how long Oscar will stay with us for this. He's giving me a look. So let's start with some of our seated sun breaths and chest openers. So bringing your fingertips to the side. We'll slowly inhale, lifting our arms up overhead. And then once they're overhead, palms come together. And then exhale, palms come down to heart center. Then inhale, opening up the arms. Really expanding your chest open. And then exhaling, closing the hands slowly. Inhale up. And then exhale down. Hello, puppy. Inhale up. Exhale to heart center. Inhale, open. Opening up your chest and closing on the exhale. Inhale up. And exhale, bringing your fingertips floating back down to the mat. And one last time, inhale slowly up. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, opening your hands, opening your chest. Exhale, closing your hands. Inhale, bringing your hands up overhead. And then exhale, bringing your hands down. All right. So I'm starting with my right leg alongside of my left leg. And I'm going to do a forward fold. That's his bone that he just dropped. And just if I was close, I'd pause, but I'm going to just put him into this. Come, oh, come. Feeling his oats today. All right, right leg, sorry about that. Right leg in front of the left leg, and we're gonna do a forward fold. So we're just kind of pivoting from the waist and slowly walking our hands out in front of us until we find that sweet spot where you can still feel that nice flow of air coming in and out of your nostrils. And then inhale, and then on the exhale, maybe just relax and drop into the pose, bringing yourself closer to the mat. And then walk your hands back. And we'll bring the left hand to the right kneecap and the right hand behind our hip, and just pivot our body, our torso to the right. Send our gaze straight ahead. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. And a couple more inhales and exhales. And then turn back to center and extend your right leg out at a diagonal. We're going to do a side stretch, so lifting our arm up overhead and having our right hand along the inner part of our right knee. We're going to slide that right hand down to our foot, bringing our torso down toward our leg, first on the side, and then we're going to pivot and bring our gaze to our knee, and then come back up to sitting position. And we're going to switch legs so that the left leg is on the outer side of the right. We'll do that again. Walk our hands forward to a forward fold. Inhale, and then on your exhale, just kind of releasing into that pose so you get a little further down. You feel on your exhale, your body relaxing into this pose. And then walk your hands back up. Bring your right hand to your left kneecap, left fingertips behind your hips, twisting your torso to the left, sending your gaze out straight ahead. And then bring your torso back to center. Extend your left leg out at a diagonal. And bring the back of our left hand to our left knee, stretching our right arm up alongside of our ear. And we'll slide our left hand down toward our foot, coming down kind of diagonally, looking straight out ahead. And then we're going to pivot our torso to gaze down to our knee. And then come back up. We'll come up onto our hands and knees into tabletop. So we'll spread our fingers out, gripping the mat slightly, pushing down equally into each hand, distributing our weight equally. And then with our pushing down, we're creating that space between our shoulders and our ears. Knees are right below the hips, navel's tucked to the spine, creating a nice flat back. And then we're going to just do some head turns, so gently flow from one side, looking all the way to the right. And then flowing your head back to center and then over to the other side. Keeping that weight distributed in your hands evenly. So gently rock your head back and forth. Nice even flow. And then back to center. We'll do a few cat-cows. So to round our back, dropping our head and tailbone down. And then inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up. Rounding our back, dropping our head down, tailbone down for cat. Then lifting our head and tailbone up, sending our gaze straight ahead for cow. And just continue here for a few moments. Just loosening up your spine. Going at your own pace. Synchronizing your inhales and your exhales to your movements. And then coming back to a neutral spine, we'll do some rear view, what I call rear view. So we're going to extend our right leg behind us and turning our toes under so that we are connecting with the toes and the ball of our foot on the mat, really pushing down to have that connection. Maybe even lifting up your left knee to really enforce that nice connection with the right foot to the mat. And you feel the back of your calf kind of stretching out as well. And then we're going to take that right foot and bring it, keeping the toes and the ball of the foot as it is, bring it over and off the mat. So we're still on the balls of our foot, or ball of our foot, and then send our gaze around our left arm and look at our foot. And then bring our right knee back to where it was, back to tabletop, and we'll do that on the other side. So extending your left leg back, the toes and the ball of your foot pushing down into the mat, maybe even lifting up your left knee off the mat. Really feel that connection and that stretch in the back of your calf, pushing the heel to the back of the mat. And then we'll bring that left foot over to the right side off the mat, keeping the toes and the ball of the foot on the floor. And then turning our head and gazing back at our left foot. And then bringing our knee back to tabletop. Then we'll do a few modified side planks, and this particular pose is going to be important for later on in the sequence. So we're going to kickstand our left foot off the mat, bring our left wrist right below our left shoulder, extend our right leg down to the end of the mat. And then we'll sweep our right hand up to the sky. And as we sweep our right hand up, we're going to lift our right leg up. So Arms are straight up and down, leg is out. And then we'll bring that hand and foot back down to the mat. We'll do this 2 more times. And when you have your hand and leg all the way up, just pause for a few moments. Breathe. Just really commit this to muscle memory. And then come back down. And one last time, sweeping the right hand all the way up. Maybe sending your gaze up to your hand. And then bringing your hand and leg back down. Back to tabletop. And we'll do that on the other side. So kickstand your right leg out. Right wrist is right below your right shoulder. Left foot goes down to the bottom of the mat. We'll sweep our left hand all the way up. As we do, we're lifting our left leg up. Pause here for a moment. And then sweep it back down. And then we'll try 2 more times, lifting our hand up, lifting our leg up, remembering to breathe. Try to create nice, gentle flows with your breath. And then back down. And one last time, sweeping your hand up, leg goes up. And then back down again. Come back to tabletop. Tuck toes under, walking your hands back. We're coming up onto the balls of our feet, and we'll push down, coming up to mountain pose. So the mountain pose, have our toes pointing to the straight edge of the mat. Feet a little bit apart. Excuse me. Lifting our toes and spreading them wide apart. And then bring our toes down to the mat, lift our heels up. And then lower our heels to the mat. Really feel that connection, that grounding, that stability, strength that a mountain pose has. Legs are straight and strong with a gentle bend in your knee. Navels tucked to the spine. Shoulders relaxed and rolled back. Spine and back of the neck is nice and long. Chin is slightly tucked to the chest. Crown of our head is reaching up to the sky. Essentials of good posture. And then with a big inhale, we sweep our hands up overhead. And then exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. And just check in here for a moment. And then inhale, bring our hands to our shins and flatten our back. You can bring your elbows toward your knees. Maybe help that, helps your spine straighten out. And then send the crown of your head down toward the mat. And just let gravity take over for a moment. And sweeping your hands from the mat all the way up overhead. Come up onto our tippy toes. And then slowly lower our hands and slowly lower our heels back down to the mat. And then sweep our hands up again, back up onto our tippy toes. Nice big inhale. And then exhale slowly. Oops. Lowering our hands back down to the mat. One last time, sweeping our hands up, coming up, 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 onto our tippy toes. And then lowering our hands, slowly lowering our heels back down to the mat. And then bringing our hands all the way down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, bringing your hands to your shins, elbows toward your knees, really straightening that spine. And then lowering our crown of our head down toward the mat. And sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Then we're going to take our right hand and wrap it around our left wrist, and we'll do a side stretch, a little different than we normally do. So with our right hand wrapped around our left wrist, we're going to send our left fingertips over to the right and tilt our body as well, creating a nice crescent shape. And inhale, come back up. And we'll switch hands. Left hand goes around the right wrist. And then we'll send our right fingertips over to the left, creating a stretch on that side. Inhale, come back up. We'll do that again on each side. So right hand around the left wrist, sending the left fingertips over to the right. And then back up again. And switching hands. Right fingertips over to the left. Just breathe. This one seems to make it a little more difficult to breathe. Back up again. And then back down to the mat. Bending the knees as you go. Inhale, hands to the shins, flat back. And then crown of the head reaching down toward the mat. Big exhale. And sweeping our hands all the way up overhead again. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we're going to lift our right leg up. So have your left foot planted nice into the mat. Create that secure connection with the mat, part of mountain pose. And then just gently lift your right leg up. Find that stability. And I'm going to take my right hand, place it on my right knee, and send my right knee over to the right. Hip opener. And then I'll send it down. And we'll do that on the other side. Sweeping our hands up overhead. Big inhale. Hands come together. Hands come to heart center. My right foot now is planted on the mat between the floorboards. And then I lift my left leg up till I feel stable. And then I reach my left hand to my left knee and guide my left knee over to the left. And you find your drishti in all this, helps with the stability. And then release. Well done. Oh, we have one more to go. So we're going to bring our hands back down to the mat. Inhale, lifting our hands to our shins, flat back, or half forward fold. And then dropping the crown of our head down toward the mat. And sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And palms come to the back of our hips for supported back bend. So our feet are about hip width apart. Fingertips are pointing down. Palms of our hands are on our hip bones. Shoulders relaxed and rolled back. Chins tucked toward our chest. And just drop our shoulders back to the point where you can find that even flow of breath. And then come back up. Well done. All right, moving it on. We'll sweep our hands up overhead. Big inhale and exhale, bringing our hands all the way down to the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, bringing our hands to our shins, flat back for half forward fold. And then bringing our hands back down to the mat, putting them on the mat and sending both feet back, coming into plank pose. So our wrists are right below our shoulders. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat. Navel's tucked to the spine, creating a little bit of elevation in your hips. No saggy tummies. And then slowly lowering to the mat, either knee to chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to the side. And once you've landed on the mat, bring your arms alongside you, palms facing up. Chin is gently resting on the mat. And we'll do half locust and then full locust. So inhale, lifting the right leg up. And then exhale down. Inhale, lifting the left leg up. And then down. Then inhale, lifting both legs up. And if you like, both arms up off the mat. Full locust. And then back down again. Bring our fingertips below our shoulders. Elbows tucked toward our sides. We'll inhale, lifting our chin and chest up. Gently pushing down, coming into cobra. And then keep pushing, lifting your hips up, and then coming into extended child's pose. Sending your hips down to your ankles. And then we'll come back up to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, lift our hips up to downward dog and pedal out here for a moment. So downward dog, our fingers are wide and index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Maybe gripping with our fingers a little bit. Arms straight and strong, chest reaching toward our thighs, lifting our hips up. And then we're gonna do three-legged dog. So we're gonna stop pedaling here and then just lift the right leg up to the air, high up as you can go, and then bring it back down. And then we're gonna lift the left leg up to the air, and then back down. And then the right leg goes back up, and then back down. And the left leg goes up, and back down. And then we're going to take that left foot and bring it between our hands, coming into runner's lunge. You can assist it. Find yourself in runner's lunge. Knees right over your ankle, back heels pushing to the back of the mat. And place your right hand down on the mat, sweeping your left hand up to the sky, opening your chest, and then bringing that back down. And then we're going to pivot our back foot down and push down on the front foot, coming up into warrior two. So warrior two, our left knees right over our left ankle, just so you can see your big toes. Back foot's nice and snug in the mat. Chest is reaching to the side, long side of your mat. Arms are at shoulder height. Send your gaze to your left fingertips. Tuck your navel to your spine. Really feel the strength of this pose. And then we're going to reach straighten our left leg out first, and then reach our left fingertips forward, and then send them down, coming into triangle pose. Right hands reaching up toward the sky. And if you want, you can send your gaze up to your right hand. Really opening up your chest. And then coming back to downward dog. Coming back into that lunge position. Sending our gaze to our left fingertips. And then send your left forearm down to your left thigh, coming into extended side angle, reaching your right hand up to the sky. And then we're going to bring our right hand all the way down to the mat. Have it land on the mat right beside your right foot, pivoting our back foot. So we're going to go into half moon. And I chose this because this is probably the most vulnerable yoga pose I have. You may have a different one, but this is my nemesis. So the more I work at it, the better I get. So that's, I'm vulnerable still, but I'm adding strength each time I challenge that vulnerable pose. So from here, we're going to reach the left hand to the left corner of the mat, sliding our back foot up. So our right hand still beside our front foot, and the left hand is reaching to the left corner rather of the mat. And we can use this, reaching your right leg up, come back, reaching it up, and then back. And this may be all that you do today, and that's fine. That's pretty much where I get stuck and stay myself. So on this last time, lift your right leg up and lift your right arm up. And then what you're trying to do is open your chest to the side. All right, so we'll do that on that side, call it a day on that, and then come back up to mountain pose. Woo. And we'll do that all on the other side. So I'd like to hear what your most vulnerable pose is. It used to be for me the tree pose. Anything that has balance in it. I'm very vulnerable, and I've got pretty good at the tree pose. But this one I'm working on. So take a moment here to breathe. Okay, and then sweeping our hands up overhead, and then exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees. Inhale, bringing our hands to our shins. Nice flat back for half forward fold. And then exhale, bringing our hands to the mat, sending both feet to the back, coming into plank pose. And then either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to the side, lower down to the mat. And then bringing your hands alongside, palms facing up, chin gently resting on the mat. Lift the right leg up and bring it back down. Lifting the left leg up, bringing it back down. Lifting both legs up, maybe both arms up, and bringing those back down. Bringing your fingertips right below your shoulders, elbows tucked to the side. Lifting your chin and chest up, gently pushing in, coming into cobra. And then keep pushing, come up to tabletop, and then lowering your hips down to extended child's pose. And then coming back up to tabletop, tucking your toes under, lifting your hips up to the sky. Come into downward dog, pedal out here for a few moments. And then we're going to lift our left leg up and bring it back down. Lift the right leg up, bring it back down. Lift the left leg up for three-legged dog, bringing it back down. Lift the right leg up and bringing it back down. And then we're going to bring our right foot between our hands, coming into runner's lunge. And then putting your left palm on the mat, we'll sweep our right hand up to the sky. Runner's lunge with a twist. And then back down again. And then pivoting the back foot down, pushing into the front leg, coming up to warrior two. So right knees over the right ankle, left edge of your foot is nice and snug in the mat. Chest is open to the straight edge of the mat. Lifting our arms up to shoulder height. Sending our gaze to our right fingertips. Then straightening the front leg out. Sending those right fingertips forward and then down into triangle pose. Sending our gaze perhaps up to our left fingertips. And then back to downward dog. Back to warrior two. Chest open to the side. Gaze to the right fingertips. And then bringing our right forearm down to our right thigh, sending our left fingertips up to the sky, really opening up our chest, opening up our heart. And then sending our left fingertips down right beside our front foot. And I'm going to send our right hand up to the corner of our mat, about 18 inches, sliding our back foot up. And we'll try this on this side. So we start with just raising our leg up, getting the feel for that. We need to bring it down and raise it up again. Maybe play with lifting your left hand off the mat and then bringing it back down. And then one last time, raise it up. And then bringing our left hand all the way up to the sky. And then slowly pivoting. So we send our chest out to the side. And then back. And then come back up to mountain pose. How's everyone doing? Alrighty, so palms come together at heart center. Pinky toes come out to the edges of the mat. Heels are tucked in. And we're going to lower our hips down to the mat, coming into wide-legged squat. And you can bring your hands down closer to the mat, just sending your legs a little further apart if you wish. And then bringing our sit bones down to the mat. And we'll roll down, your choice, either express method, hands under the knees, zip back, or one vertebrae at a time using your knees bent position, or straight out. We're going to try straight out today. You choose whatever you'd like to do today. And once we're on the mat, we're going to bring our knees to our chest, give them a nice squeeze, and then we'll draw big full moon circles with our toes, massage our lower back, going from the half moon to a full moon. One way, and then you can rotate going the opposite direction. And then we're going to bring our soles of our feet down to the mat, about hip width apart, maybe just a little bit wider, skosh wider. Bring our arms out to the sides. We'll do some somatic windshield wipers. So the idea is to create a nice even flow, and you're going to be using your hands as the flippers and turning your head back and forth as well. So first we'll start lowering our knees to the right side, sending our gaze to the left. Left fingertips are facing up to the sky, and right fingertips behind us are facing down to the mat or the floor. Then inhale, sweeping our legs up and over. We're going to turn our head and flip our hands the opposite positions. So now our legs are to the left, gaze is to the right, right fingertips are facing up, left fingertips are facing down. We'll come back again, flowing over to the right with our legs, flipping our hands, rolling our head to the left. And then you could just go at your own pace, creating that nice even flow. We'll do just a couple more of these. And then come back to center and send your legs down to the bottom of the mat, to the corners of the mat, and let your feet flop open, preparing for Shavasana. Arms are alongside, angled out slightly, your palms facing up. Feel your shoulder blades nice and snug in the mat. Take a deep inhale and then exhale through your mouth and let your body just relax and release into the mat. And today I have for you a reading. It's an excerpt from a book that this excerpt, I think, beautifully illustrates vulnerability. And the book is The Velveteen Rabbit by Margery Williams. Real isn't how you are made, said the skin horse. It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real. Does it hurt? Asked the rabbit. Sometimes, said the skin horse, for he was always truthful. When you are real, you don't mind being hurt. Does it happen all at once, like being wound up? He asked, or bit by bit? It doesn't happen all at once, said the skin horse. You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily, or have sharp edges, or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off, and your eyes drop out, and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly except to people who don't understand.